supplying the power for these devices, we have some problems. Let me to a little talk about, for example, these devices. After that, we can learn about the PoE or power Ethernet. For example, you know that in today's networks, we have IP phones. What is the IP phone? IP phone is one device, is a, for example, one phone that this phone can convert our voice to the packet. Actually, you are, for example, speaking in the IP phone, okay? And after that, IP phone creates packets from your voice and send these packets to the internal of network in the concept of the voice over IP. You will learn about the voice over IP in the future courses, not in the CCNA, but you know that we have IP phones in the networks. An IP phone needs power, you know it. How we can supply the power of the IP phone? It's so easy. You can use the AC power, okay? Here we have one adapter, and with this adapter, you can convert the AC to DC, okay? And finally, we have the power of the IP phone. Look at here. This is the packet tracer. In packet tracer, let me to add one IP phone. This is the, for example, our IP phone. And after that here, if you click on the IP phone, you can see the back panel of the IP phone here. At the back of the IP phone, you have one AC adapter input. And if you want to use this IP phone, you need to connect this adapter to this, for example, input of the power. Look at here, assume that we have one switch. This is our switch. I'm going to connect the switch to the IP phone. Look at here. This is the connection between the switch and IP phone. Because the IP phone now is is off, the traffic cannot send from the IP phone to the switch. How we can enable the IP phone? We should give power to the IP phone with this adapter. Look at here. I'm going to attach it to this interface. After that, now we have connectivity with the IP phone to the AC power. This is a converter. This should convert the AC power to the DC power. And finally, we can use the IP phone. Now this is working. Because of that, for IP phone, we need to give power and with the, for example, one AC adapter. This is the traditional solution. But you know that in some cases, this is not so easy to provide the AC power, for example, in the IP phone. Let me to explain one real scenario. Assume that in our company, okay, we have 50 PCs, okay? And each PC is residing in one desk. For example, here we have one desk, okay, or one, for example, table. In this table, we have one PC. And also, one of our employees is working with this PC. Assume that we have, for example, 50 tables. And in each table, we have one PC. Okay, this is our company. Now, we want to implement the IP phones in our company. You know that each person, each employee needs one IP phone. Because of that, here we need to give to each person one IP phone. This is the one IP phone. And because we are installing the IP phone on the table of the, for example, each person, each employee, we need to supply the power in each, for example, table. This means that if you have 50 PC, actually, you need 50 IP phone and you need 50 more power outlets. And this means that again, you need to construct the power. And after that, for example, you should install some devices about the supplying the power in the near of the table of the employee. And this is not so easy. Also, you need to generate the power also for all of these new power outlets, okay? Because of that, now we have a problem. For each IP phone, we need to, for example, supply the power. This is not so easy, okay? After that, we have another type of devices that needs power. For example, the one IP camera. What is the IP camera? IP camera is a device that you can install it on the, for example, a ceiling, and after that it can record, it can monitor the area for you. Also, we have another device, access list or access points, okay? IP access points, and the access point is the device that you can provide the, for example, RF or the wireless signals to the specific cell, and after that the wireless clients can connect to the access point. You know it, okay? And now we have again the other problem. The problem is that on the ceiling that we are installing the access point and IP camera, it is not so easy to install the power outlet, okay? We need some wiring and some other thing. Because of that, this is not so easy. Now we have one important for example, a problem. The problem is that how we can supply the power for all of the devices in our networks, for the IP phone, for the IP camera, for the access points, and some other new devices that we have in, for example, one network. If you want to use the traditional solution, the supplying in each place the AC power outlet, this is not so easy. Okay, and also maybe this is requires to for consuming many for money resources, and this is not good. We have one solution. This is the intermediate solution. This is not a final solution, but if you want, you can use it. Look at here. You know that we are connecting IP phone directly to the switch. Okay, we have some devices. We call them power over Ethernet injector or PoE injector. Here, this you can see one PoE injector. This PoE injector can connect to the power or to the, for example, one power outlet or UPS uninterruptible power supply. And instead of connecting the IP phone, the IP camera, the access point directly to the switch, you can connect these devices to the power injector, for example, here. And after that, the next interface of the power injector can be connected to the switch. Actually, when the traffic is going from the switch to the for example, IP phone over the Ethernet cable, this power injector should inject the power into the UTP cable. And because of that, in one cable, we are receiving both power and also the data. This means that we don't need to install one new power outlet near the IP phone, near the access point, near the, for example, IP camera. Look at here, let me to explain it. You know that normally the switch should connect to the IP phone. And here we don't have any power. If you want, you can install between the switch and IP phone one power injector. Okay, let me do a PoE injector or power over Ethernet injector. Okay, after that, this power injector now has power. Why? In most cases, we are connecting the power injector to the, for example, UPS or maybe the power outlet. This is the power injector should be installed near the switch in most cases. Okay, and after that, here we have the power, for example, AC power. Let me to write here. And when the traffic is going from the switch to the for example, IP phone, the power injector in the middle of the path can inject the power. And after that, now we are sending both power and data to the IP phone. This is possible, but this is not for example, best solution. Why? Because you need to buy multiple power PoE injector, and here you have, for example, you need to install them, you need to maintain them, and again, we can say this is the intermediate solution. This is not a best solution. If you don't have any other solution, you can use it. But the best solution is using some type of switch, that this type of switch can send power over the, for example, UTP cable. We have some type of switch, okay? This switch hardware has this capability of supplying the power to the devices. This is the switch with different hardware. In the hardware of this switch, for example, in some cases, we have more than one power supply. We have two power supply. The first power supply is for the switch itself, and the second power supply is for other devices. We call it the power sourcing equipment, or PSE, okay? Because of that, if your switch support the PSE or power source or power, for example, applying, you can use the, for example, UTP cable to sending both power and data to the IP phone. IP phone is the power device, or PD. Also, IP camera is a PD, access point is a PD. Let me to show you. Look at here. Here, the 2960 switch of the packet tracer doesn't support the power. This is not PoE. This is not PSE. Okay, you know it. In some cases, maybe in the other types of the 2916